Hey everybody, welcome back to Mini Bike Mike's Garage, and welcome back to the ongoing saga of the Moab CT70 bike that I've been building. This is this is episode or video number 5, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not going to go back and rehash what I've done in the 4 previous videos. If you're just now running across my channel and you want to see what I've done, like I said, I'll put links in the description. There are 4 videos prior to this one that kind of tells you how we got to this point. So I'm still working on this back rack, and for you 6 or 7 guys that have watched all 4 or 5 videos that I have, you might notice I put a couple more pieces of steel on it. I just felt like it needed another pound or 2, you know, it just wasn't quite heavy enough. So I'm trying to work out license plates and some kind of lighting on the back. So I've put a bracket there that I will mount a license plate to. You might not be able to see it, but there's a hole right here that a white LED will fit up into to illuminate that. Then I've got yellow LEDs that will fit in, about dropped it, will fit into each side for the turn signals, left and right. And then instead of a traditional brake light, I have 4 of these LEDs, the red LEDs, that have both a dim and a bright light, so I can use it as a running light and a brake light. And those will fit 4 of those across there. So I need to pull this rack off for the 15th, 20th time, and I'm not joking. I've had this thing on and off quite a bit. So I need to pull it off. I've just tacked these things on. I need to go ahead and do the final welding there. One other thing, I'm trying to finish up the fabrication on this. By the end of this video, I'd like to have this put back together and we can take it for a ride again. I've also cut a little piece of pipe for an extension on the muffler right here. In the last video, I had the back rack loaded up with my bags that I'm going to be carrying all my luggage and tools and so forth in, and a few guys made comments that the bag was, going to get a lot of heat from this exhaust, and I realized that too. I had already kind of considered doing something, but I appreciate you guys in the comments telling me that I needed to kind of direct that exhaust a little bit away from that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll tell you what, I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer and just show you what the tip of this thing looks like. Hopefully it's showing up, but I believe the only exit from this exhaust is right there in the center. I believe everything around that is just solid. So I should be able to take this pipe and slide it right over top of that center part, weld it around this edge to kind of seal it all up, and I should be good. So I've just taken a really thin, I don't know what, that's probably a 1-inch OD 063 wall round tubing, and I put just a little bit of heated it up and bent it a little bit, and it's just going to get welded right in there, right over top of that outlet. And I'll probably point it kind of down and toward the middle this way, just to kind of force the exhaust that way, and I think we should be good. So I'm going to take the rack off again, get it all welded up the way I want it, should be finished, and then let's start putting parts back on this so we can fire it up and take it for a ride. I think that'll work. I know this doesn't look too pretty, but before I button everything up, put connectors on things and so forth, I like to go through and just do the process of making sure everything's going to work. So I'm going to turn the key to the 2nd position, and we should have tail lights, and there should be a white light for our license plate. I'm going to reach up here and hit the brake. And those are going to light up. And if I reach over here, grab a turn signal. There's a left turn signal. And flip it to the right. Okay. All right. Well, now it's time to clean this mess up. Well, guys, I certainly apologize. I'm sure this video is just kind of bouncing around all over the place as I try and go through and finish up some final details on this bike. One of the things I wanted to do was on this center stand peg thing I bought here. I added a spacer right here in between where it opens up. It was allowing the center stand to come up too far, and then it was getting into the chain. There were 3 holes here. I don't know if there was supposed to be a rubber bumper that goes there that I didn't get, but I just welded in a piece of steel, and that will keep these off of the legs off the chain. I also cut off the side stand and the center stand, the little extensions, that you're supposed to use to catch with your foot. I didn't really feel like I needed them, so I did away with them. So I'm just going to take a minute and put this center stand, the center stand and the engine guard back up on here. And then once we get those, then we can move to the chain guard and the side cover and all those things. So one of the hurdles I had to jump was extending my brake rod. Obviously I extended the swing arm, pushed everything back 3 inches, so I needed a longer rod. This is just kind of temporary for right now. I split the rod, welded it, a piece of tube in here just to kind of give it some more length. I will probably go ahead and I'll probably make a completely brand new rod at some point. Make one the right length, just a solid piece of round bar. Put the little hook on the bend on it, thread this end. Or I may not, I don't know. We've got between now and September to ride this and see just what I think. It may stay on there. Is it going to clear? Oh yeah, it's going to be fine. And these cotter pins, no, I'm not really bending them yet. They're just kind of sitting in there. Might open that one up just so it doesn't fall out. There we go. All right. I think we're back together for the most part, other than going back up on the rack and putting the lights in. I did get a SL70 speedometer cable, so we're gonna pull this headlight back off of here and see just how closely that cable is going to come to reaching. I think it's going to be just fine. Of course, I need to get it out of the way of my wires. Note to self, when I go to do the final assembly on this, hook the speedometer up before you run all the wires into the bucket. It'll be a lot easier. I'm there, I just can't get the threads to start. Come on. Well, why are you not? You're crooked. I can see that you're crooked. Ah, there you go. Should go pretty easy. Don't force it. For my fuel line, I have a couple of these clamps, look like that. And I'm going to utilize the two holes here where like a grab handle would have went. And I'm just going to something like that. And this is, I got these clamps off of Amazon, and I'm using a 3/16 fuel line. That'll go down to the carb. And then I don't have a shut-off in line yet, but I will put a shut-off down here at some point. So now I'm ready to go back here to the back and hook it to the tank. I'm gonna give myself plenty of extra. I don't mind if it lays in there a little bit. I've got plenty of fuel line too. Oh, perfect. Yeah, I like that. All right, so I'm gonna take some hardware and get my tank all fastened down. Guys, I gotta head out for today. The video's not gonna end here. There'll still be more, but I gotta head out, gotta head home for today. So just to kind of wrap up today, this is where we're sitting. I kind of like the way it looks. I don't have anything in the bags yet. I haven't loaded any of my gear, tools and parts and my clothes, but I've got pretty much everything else, you know, tents, tools here, sleeping pad. The sleeping bag is underneath it, beside the gas tank. I've got the lights kind of wired in there. Let me turn it on here for you. So that's going to be my setup. That's my running light. And then they will get brighter when I hit the brake. Now, some of you might have seen on social media, maybe right here even on YouTube, I was joked around and talked about putting quad shocks on the thing, putting another set of shocks on the rear. I actually did go ahead and fab up a mount that I could put another set of shocks on it. I don't think I'm going to. I was really just more joking around with that. But at least now I've got a backup mount in case something happens to the other mounts that I have. I may I've ordered 2 or 3 more sets of shocks, trying to figure out stiffness and so forth. Obviously, I've got to have a little bit of travel. If there's not any movement back here and it's too rigid, all this is going to vibrate, that racking, and it's going to break or bend something on the back, and that would be disastrous. That's exactly what we don't want to have happen. So we have to have some kind of cushioning back here. And I think 4 shocks, even though I think it looks cool, it would just be a little too rigid for it. But anyway, when we finish up this video in a few days, we'll look at different setups for shocks. So anyway, guys, I'll see you in just a bit. Well, guys, I think this is going to go ahead and wrap up this video for this week on this bike, on this Moab bike. I've ridden it a couple times. I took it for a ride today. I was hoping it would be better. I rode it the other day. I got to change something. There's just something I can't live with, and that is that 1 down, 3 up engine. I am not a fan of trying to feather that shifter and trying to find that little half up shift between, first and second, and trying to hit neutral. And nope, I don't want any part of that. So I'm actually going to be changing out the engine in this. I'm going to go with one of the black Lifen 125 cc's. I think they're 4 down, if I'm not mistaken, shift pattern. We're going to put that in there. Everything else on the bike, A-okay. I think we're good. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and strip the bike all down, get it ready for some paint. Yes, I am going to paint it, because everything else I think is ready to go. It's just, and the engine's fine. Engine runs great, charges great, everything about it, except for the shift pattern. And I can't live with that, especially taking this out to Moab. And I don't want to be, there might be a situation where I need to find neutral, and by golly, I don't want to be fighting with it. So that's going to come out. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up today. I'll see you guys in maybe more than a week. I'm not really sure. Hopefully I'll get a video out for next Tuesday. But yeah, we're going to strip this down and get it all back apart and then put it all back together again. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next video.